Tonight's Night Rampage is deeply inspired by the incredible teachings of Abraham Hicks and the powerful idea that alignment matters more than struggle, that relief matters more than forcing, and that your vortex never disappears, even on the difficult days. Because sometimes, what truly exhausts us is not only what happened during the day, but the resistance we carry against it, the overthinking, the emotional tension, the constant noticing of what feels missing, delayed, unresolved, or uncertain. And little by little, the mind begins trying to control everything, solve everything, fix everything, until the nervous system no longer feels at ease. But according to Abraham's teachings, your inner being never loses sight of your well-being. The vortex still exists. The expanded version of your life still exists. And the part of you connected to clarity, love, abundance, peace, and emotional freedom is still available right now, even if today felt overwhelming. So tonight, this rampage is not about trying harder to manifest. It is about softening resistance, releasing the pressure of the day, allowing your energy to recalibrate, and gently returning to the emotional state where alignment, relief, and allowing can begin flowing again. Because the moment you stop fighting against where you are, you begin moving back toward the vortex. As Abraham Hicks teaches so beautifully, the better you feel, the better things get. And tonight, that is all you are reaching for. Not perfection, not immediate answers, not forcing the manifestation to appear before morning, but simply feeling a little better than you did a few moments ago. Because maybe today, your attention became too focused on what is not here yet. Maybe the mind kept observing delays, problems, uncertainty, or the absence of what you truly want. And in Abraham's teachings, that is often where resistance begins. Not because you are failing, but because your attention accidentally drifts away from your own alignment. But the beautiful thing is, alignment can begin returning in a single softened moment. A single moment of relief, a single moment of letting go of the struggle, a single moment of no longer demanding that life prove itself to you before you allow yourself to breathe again. And as Abraham often reminds us, you can't get it wrong and you never get it done. Meaning life is still unfolding, expansion is still happening, and your desires are still alive inside the vortex, whether you can physically see movement yet or not. So tonight, you are no longer trying to force the future into place. You are allowing yourself to reconnect with the emotional frequency of trust, openness, ease, and possibility. Because your inner being is not focused on the problem the way the mind has been today. Your inner being still sees the broader picture, still sees the unfolding path, still sees solutions arranging themselves beyond your current awareness. And maybe that is why you can begin relaxing your grip tonight. Because the universe does not need your constant tension in order to work things out. As Abraham says, everything is always working out for me, even when the physical world temporarily looks unfinished, even when answers are delayed, even when your emotions became tangled in today's resistance. The vortex still exists. Your desires still exist. and the energy of well-being is still flowing underneath everything, waiting only for you to stop fighting against this moment long enough to feel it again. One of the most powerful teachings from Abraham Hicks is that alignment is not something you force. It is something you allow. Because the vortex, in Abraham's teachings, is not a faraway place you must someday reach. It is the energetic reality where everything you have been asking for already exists vibrationally. Every desire, every expansion, every dream, every loving relationship, every moment of abundance, every version of yourself that feels clear, peaceful, supported, and free. According to Abraham, your inner being already lives there fully. Your inner being is already connected to the version of life that contains the answers, the opportunities, the healing, the emotional freedom, and the well-being you have been searching for. Which means alignment is not about becoming worthy enough to receive. It is about releasing the resistance that keeps you from feeling connected to what is already flowing toward you. And sometimes resistance appears so quietly, through overthinking, through watching the clock, through noticing the absence of what you want over and over again, through trying to control every outcome because the mind believes constant attention will somehow make things happen faster. But Abraham teaches that the vortex is entered not through struggle, but through emotional relief, through easing your attention away from what feels heavy, through reaching for thoughts that soften instead of tighten the body, through allowing yourself to feel a little safer, a little calmer, a little more trusting than you did before. And maybe tonight, you are beginning to understand that alignment is actually freedom. Because when you stop arguing with the present moment, your energy begins opening again. When you stop demanding immediate evidence from the physical world, your nervous system begins relaxing again. When you stop trying to micromanage every detail of your future, space begins opening for intuition, clarity, inspiration, and movement. And this is why Abraham speaks so often about the importance of feeling better first, because alignment changes the way you experience everything. In alignment, the mind softens. In alignment, solutions appear more naturally. In alignment, your body no longer feels locked into survival mode. In alignment, you stop chasing and begin allowing. And perhaps tonight, you do not need to force yourself into the vortex, because the vortex has been waiting for you all along, waiting beneath the resistance, waiting beneath the overthinking, waiting beneath the emotional exhaustion of the day, still holding the expanded version of your life, still holding the energy of everything you have been becoming. And little by little, as you release the need to struggle against this moment, you may begin feeling yourself reconnecting to that flow again. Abraham so often reminds us, your work is to tend to your vibration, not to force every outcome, not to carry the weight of the entire future tonight, not to stay mentally attached to every unanswered question until your body becomes exhausted from trying to control what cannot be controlled in this moment. Because the vortex does not require struggle from you, It only asks for your willingness to gradually release resistance. And maybe that is what is happening now. Little by little, your energy is no longer pushing so hard against life. The mind is no longer gripping every detail as tightly. The nervous system is beginning to remember what ease feels like again. And from this softer state, something powerful begins happening. You become more available to the natural flow of well-being, more available to clarity, more available to inspired ideas, more available to emotional healing, because alignment is not passive. It is receptive. It is the moment you stop blocking the energy that has always been trying to support you. And perhaps for so long, you believed you had to constantly monitor your life in order for things to improve. But Abraham teaches that what you consistently feel becomes your point of attraction, which means when your emotional state shifts, your experience of life begins shifting too. Not because you forced reality into place, but because you stopped holding yourself outside the flow of what you truly want. And tonight, you are no longer feeding the momentum of pressure, fear, urgency, or emotional exhaustion. You are beginning to create momentum in another direction, toward relief, toward openness, toward trust, toward the quiet expectation that life can begin surprising you again. Because your inner being still believes in expansion, even when your human self becomes tired. Your inner being still sees possibilities that your physical eyes cannot yet fully recognize. Your inner being still knows that things can shift faster than the mind expects once resistance begins dissolving. And maybe you can feel that softening happening now, not because every problem suddenly disappeared, but because you are no longer demanding that this moment carry the emotional weight of your entire future. And in that release, there is freedom. Freedom from constantly trying to make everything happen right now. Freedom from measuring your worth against timing. Freedom from the exhausting habit of noticing only what is unfinished. Because the vortex is not asking you to become someone else before you enter it. It is simply asking you to stop holding yourself apart from the well-being that has always been available to you. And tonight, as your thoughts become gentler and your body becomes heavier with rest, you may begin sensing that life is still moving, still unfolding, still arranging things beyond your awareness. And you do not need to stay in resistance long enough to witness every detail for that unfolding to continue. And now, as we soften even deeper into alignment tonight, stay here with me, because this final part of tonight's Night Rampage is inspired by one of the most comforting teachings from Abraham Hicks, the understanding that your natural state is well-being. And the moment resistance begins softening, you begin reconnecting with that flow again. So for the next few moments, there is nothing you need to force, nothing you need to solve, nothing you need to chase before you allow yourself to rest. Simply listen, soften, and allow these thoughts to begin creating a new emotional momentum within you. I like remembering that everything does not have to happen all at once. I like remembering that relief is enough for tonight. I like knowing that my inner being still sees the bigger picture, even when my physical mind becomes tired. I like the feeling of no longer pushing against where I am. I like the feeling of softening my attention away from struggle. I like remembering that the vortex still holds every desire I have launched, every expansion, every dream, every new beginning, and nothing has gone wrong simply because I cannot yet see every piece unfolding. I like knowing that alignment matters more than urgency. I like remembering that the better I feel, the more available I become to clarity, insight, opportunities, and movement. I enjoy the feeling of allowing life to support me instead of believing I must carry everything alone. I enjoy the feeling of releasing resistance from my body. I enjoy the feeling of emotional ease, returning little by little. And as Abraham teaches, everything is always working out for me, even now, even while I rest, even while solutions are unfolding beyond my awareness. I like knowing that I do not need to monitor every detail of my life tonight. I like knowing that the universe can handle things I no longer need to mentally carry. I like feeling my nervous system slowing down. I like feeling my thoughts becoming quieter, softer, gentler. I like remembering that my worth has never depended on how hard I struggle. And I like remembering that my natural state is not fear, not exhaustion, not resistance, but well-being, openness, and alignment. I can allow myself to receive more peace tonight. I can allow myself to stop fighting against this moment. I can allow my body to rest. I can allow my energy to recalibrate while I sleep. And maybe I do not need to know exactly how everything will unfold, because I am beginning to trust that life continues moving even when I stop pushing so hard. The vortex is still there. My desires are still there. My expansion is still there. And tonight, I am allowing myself to reconnect with the flow of well-being that has been waiting beneath all the resistance of the day. And if this night rampage helped you soften into relief tonight, you can continue this journey with the sleep surrenders and other night rampages here on the channel, each created to help you release emotional heaviness, calm the mind, reconnect with alignment, and gently return to peace before sleep.